Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Raw Emotions with B. Brown, the Revolutionary.
Yo, good sis sunshine.
And today we're going to talk about a topic that is nothing new. We're very familiar with this. Matter of fact, how many shootings have there been this year so far?
As of today, which is October the 26th, 2023, there have been 565 mass shootings in the good old US of
Mm, which clearly says to me that America has a problem.
a very serious problem with our gun laws.
Yes, without gun laws. Some things definitely need to be changed.
Not just even change with law, like change with I don't understand the necessity of having an assault rifle or a high powered rifle or weapons like AR-15s, things of that nature. Like
Yeah, because that's for the military.
exactly. I think that they are military grade weapons, and I don't find any reason for a civilian, and a civilian being anyone who is not in the military, to own that type of weapon. There is no reason for it whatsoever.
Even after they have retired from the military, why do they need an assault rifle? What
I,
is the reason?
facts. If you
So,
can war, you should not have a gun of that nature. That's how I feel.
exactly. Well, you want to let's check out this news clip right quick. As you can see right here on the screen, we have
Mr. Robert Card.
yes. Yes. This is the assailant. He is still on the run as we speak.
Yes. Since it's been almost 24 hours since it has been 24 hours since the initial 911 call in regards to the shooting that happened in the bowling alley. And
Mhm.
it's 24 hours since they put people like, on this high alert.
Right. So
It's a,
it's rather disturbing though. Um, but let's start from square one. Let's listen to what the news is saying about this situation.
it's been playing all over all day.
I know it.
Of others injured. Now we're getting more color on Robert Card's background, and it's concerning. Fox News did review an internal law enforcement bulletin going out to the Maine State Police, which says that Robert Card does have a military background. He's believed to be part of the Army Reserve. He's a
Mhm.
firearms instructor and is known to have mental health issues. Particularly, had reported hearing voices in his head, had previously threatened to shoot up a military base before, and as recently as this summer, spent 2 weeks in a mental health facility, then was released. Now, those details there are going to raise all sorts of questions and red flags as to how he's got that rifle that he's holding in these photos right now. With those kind of mental health issues, going into a mental health facility this summer, there are going to be all sorts of questions asked as to how this guy was able to possess a firearm like that. Now, obviously, there's a chance that maybe he purchased it on the street or it's a ghost gun, that sort of a thing. The ATF will come in. They'll sort out all those questions once they eventually find this guy or take him down, and they're able to start trying to run emergency traces on that gun, what it is, where it.
Listen, listen. If he's in the military, right, and he's an Army reservist, don't you think he might have some kind of connections to be able to get said weapons from anywhere?
To maneuver about and do whatever he needs to do to stay on the run.
Exactly. I mean, he could have gotten that weapon. He could have been had that weapon before he had his mental health breakdown back in July.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, why did he go to this youth like bowling league tournament that was going on? Like, why was he going there? Like, there was a bunch of kids there. What was his rationale? I could understand, not that I can understand, as in I can completely rationalize and empathize with this person. However, to want to harm children, a space where that children are knowingly going to be
Mm-hmm.
in that to where only adults are, like, what would make him think to go to a place where kids are knowingly going to be? Like, was it his intention to harm children? Like, what's going on?
And do you think he just went for the first place he seen?
No, well, I don't remember where I read it, but I read his sister or his sister-in-law said that he had been supposedly looking for his ex-girlfriend. His
Hmm.
ex-girlfriend, not his ex-wife, who he got a divorce from. I believe it was in 2007 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the exact date, but he'd been divorced, but they said he was looking for his ex-girlfriend, and those happened to be two places that she frequented. So I'm not so
Mm.
sure, like, do you know what I'm saying? If that's was why he was there, nonetheless, like, it's a space, it's a rec center. You
Exactly.
want children to be there.
And one person had described him as being quiet, but the most loving, hardworking, kind person that I know. But in the past year, he had an acute episode of mental health, and it's been a struggle. Okay, what I have a problem with that situation is if he had a mental health episode, why didn't they take his ability to get these firearms? Like that's where they need to step in and start doing stuff like that. Once you have a mental health episode, I don't think you should be able to have not a firearm owned. Period.
Or
Period.
even any kind of like a sword. You know what the kind of damage people do with machetes. People do have swords and like say things like sabers and things like a regular like cooking knife or whatever. Okay, fine, we're gonna leave. But those special type of swords, no, we can't have that happen. Like any kind of like weapon, that's a no.
She also said he was a very nice guy, very quiet. He never overused his authority or was mean or rude to other soldiers. It's really upsetting. Now, the problem that I have with that statement is that that's past tense. People change each and every day depending on what type of environment they are in. So we can't go by what he used to do, and he already had a breakdown. So he should have been watched and under some type of surveillance. And I mean, they got the capabilities to do it, but it's like they turn a blind eye for these people, and then things like this happen.
And I mean, I don't, I always gotta I gotta keep it black. Um, I always find it funny, not funny, haha, like funny, like, oh, for real. Like when particular people do unalivings and things of that nature, they're called, oh, they were mental health and they were the most loving guy and his mother loved him and he loved God and community, and they put up the pictures of them and like in mass, and then other people who get unalived by
Mm-hmm.
no reason. Their criminal backgrounds are looked up and they smoked weed back in 1976, although it's 2023, and they had a record from juvie, and like
Yeah,
grandfather was like certain people get certain liberties, and I'm
yeah,
not to negate anything of this tragedy. It bothers me that
yeah,
I that this kind of narrative is being placed on a domestic terrorist. He is
exactly.
a murderer, a mass murderer, and a terrorist. He is terrorizing two towns of people. He has
Mm-hmm.
killed 18 people. He has wounded 13 people, but he is being allowed to be characterized as a nice guy, as
Mm-hmm.
as uh he follows authority. I don't think there's no authority that allows you to just go around just killing people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't believe that. I don't think a kind and loving God goes to a bowling alley amongst a groups, not just a group, not just two or three groups, amongst groups of children, because they had a league going on, and just starts to unalive.
Exactly. It's really gut wrenching, and it's a sad situation. And right here, if you're looking at the screen, you can see some of the people that were unalived, and their family members were sharing pictures of them on social media. As you can see, the two best friends right there. I mean, these
Joseph.
people was just out. You want to read their names?
I mean, we have Bob Violetti. I don't want to hack up anyone's name. Then you have the
Okay.
two best friends, Joseph and Michael. Then there was Peyton Brewer Ross,
Mm-hmm.
Tristan Asselin, Tommy Conrad, Billy Brackett, Arthur Stroud, Steve Vazzola, Ron Morin, Joshua Seal. It's just, and then there are countless others, and
Mm-hmm.
the haven't been releasing the names of the people. I guess you want to identify the families first. However, like family have been sharing images, and stories of their love, the loved ones that they lost today, and it just makes no sense. Just another the 565th
Mm.
like tragedy
Mm.
in nation.
Mm.
565.
That's a lot. Like that is like over the top. Like I can't even wrap my mind around. Okay, we are in the 10th month. So that means like 50 shootings a month.
Come on now. The math is astronomical. And more
That is so
often than not,
sad.
they are carried out by these high power assault rifles.
Exactly. And I'm just not I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it anymore. Um then you get someone um who has a traffic violation. Well, matter of fact, let me just say this, and we'll cover this story soon. The police hit a young man and hid the fact that he was unalive and just buried him. And the mother was looking for him for 7 months. We'll
What?
yes, yes. We'll
Where did this
cover
happen?
we'll cover this story. No, we're not gonna get into it. We'll cover this story um on another day. But I just want to put that out there. The fact that you do something like that to an innocent person, and then we have somebody like this who you already see a pattern of destruction, and you don't take no type of legalities to make anything happen. It's just don't make no sense.
Mind you, he has been trained by the United States government.
Yeah, so
He
he can live on
also
the land.
he's in his own neck of the woods. A friend of his said, "Oh, he could go missing for a long time." He's a deer hunter. He's in his own neck of the woods. He knows the thick, and he apparently he's in the thick of the woods. Like he knows the outs and ends. He could have been hiding for forever. Although I read a couple of minutes ago that they had a family members of his home surrounded, and he was supposedly inside. What I read from that, like nothing had come from that thus far, but that's what I had read from that. That was about maybe like a half an hour ago. So
Okay.
we'll see what the updates bring, but it just makes no sense that someone with that even, especially with his kind of training,
Yeah, it's
kind of mental
scary.
training and his mental health issues, that he was allowed to get that kind of weapon.
Mind you, he threatened people who he worked with, and the military officers, and told them that he would unalive them first and foremost. And they the one said, go and seek some mental health. And that's kind of the way it ended.
But it shouldn't have been where it ended unless he was mentally sound. Because
Well, he was there for 2 weeks and then they released him.
and mm, I don't want to ask it because you really can't be held accountable for someone's actions after they leave a facility. I mean, nonetheless, it should have been made highly impossible for him to have access to any kind of weapon, any kind.
And I'm just going to say that his colleagues failed him. They failed him. You see, the man is in need of some help, and yet
Mhm.
still you hid him out for 2 weeks and gave him some cookies. Oh, you all right now? Go ahead on. We'll see you when we get there. And then this is what happened.
That's
They,
true.
they failed him, and it's a lot of fails when it comes to stuff like this, because there's
Mm.
no way in the world it's supposed to be 500 and how many?
565.
That's almost 600. It's closer to 600 than it is 500.
Sure enough, we round up, not down. Unless it's in pounds, we round down in pounds.
So it just don't make no sense to me. Do you want to get into this other clip that
Sure.
we got from the news? It's just it don't make no sense. It just
And I
don't.
mean, and the people, I feel so bad for the people living in Lewiston and the adjoining town. They've been on lockdown all day.
Mm,
School,
mm, mm,
just in general. How scary is that for these kids, especially? Can you imagine being a child in a bowling alley? Someone comes in and unlives your friend right next to you.
mm,
How
mm, mm.
traumatized the babies are. It just don't make no sense.
It's very sad.
It's domestic terrorism, is what it is.
It's sad and it's evil.
It's beyond evil. I don't even have a word for it.
It's demonic cousin on a higher level
On his daddy's side.
on his daddy's side for sure.
Period.
All right, let's check out some of this press conference, see what they have to say.
Why would you ask something like that? That was really kind of weird. You hear those numbers. Now I did hear. I read somewhere that a 10-year-old little girl had been unalived as well.
That is so sad. And we apologize. For some reason, this conference is low. You know, they can get everything else right except for what they need to get right. I mean,
Exactly.
come on with it now. Stop playing with the situation. We want to know what's going on. We want to know, we want to hear and everything. And they got it so low that you just have to sit very, very quiet and use the way deep part of your ear so you can hear exactly what's going on. But he
Hmm.
said by the time it was like the 15th person that came in, they having to get all this staff to take care of these people because it was boom, 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 just like that.
Hmm. You figure 18 people unalive, 13 wounded. That's 31 people in a hospital at one time,
All at
or
one time.
or
It's
even.
exactly. Let's keep
How
on
many
with.
how many trauma units do you think they have in Maine? You know that in the state of Maine last year they had 29 murders, like all year.
All year. This is usually a pretty quiet state.
Yes.
So let's see what else he had to say.
Doctor, did all the patients come by ambulance, or were there any who came via private vehicle or
All the patients were brought in either by ambulance or by first responders.
Doctor, I know hospitals train all the time for mass casualty events. How did that training prepare you, and did it match reality?
Again, I think our team did an amazing job. They provided high level of expertise. We're very thankful that they were able to get as many patients into our trauma bays and into our operating rooms as we were able to. They train regularly, and again, I think it showed.
Doctor, who coordinated whether a patient went to you, was a sick family, or ended up, as I think with this one, you get transferred to Florida?
As I mentioned, and as you can tell by the time frame, that situation unfolded very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that they came to us based on the experience of the ambulance drivers and the proximity to our facility.
What if you weren't doing the triage role yourself?
We received the patients as they came to us.
What was the number of people on duty at the hospital last night? How did that
That's a shame.
We've had our normal staffing available last night,
What do you
and
think?
as I mentioned,
The first call came in at
we
6:56, and then the second call came in at 7:08, and
Mm,
then the difference between the two places, the I want to say it was called the just-in-time wreck, and
mm-hmm,
I will not mangle the name of that bar, but the distance between the just-in-time recreation and the bar that he also committed the murders was 4 miles.
mm,
So there was time in between.
mm.
It's just sad.
It's very sad. So sad. I mean, I just don't. Can you imagine you going on your regular day and someone, because they're having a bad day, just come and start unaliving people? Like,
Especially in the place and where you live. Now I am not gonna lie, I am from a place where things like that actually happen.
yeah,
They opened up an arcade and the same day somebody shot it up and my kids were gonna go there. I was like, no, they can't go. Just for some reason they can't go. And they got shot up. I expect things like that to happen where I come from. But
yeah,
in a place like Maine, where you have 29, that's a 2 and a 9. That's 29 people all year, 12 months,
mm-hmm,
are unalive. You don't have those kind of feelings of high alert, you have to be safe.
mm-hmm.
You don't think things like that happen where you live, where you come from. You don't think, oh, I have to watch who's coming to the door, watch my back. Everything is like, it's community there.
Well, let's just be real. Anyone can get caught slipping. You're
And
going about. Yeah, you can go on about your daily task. I mean, it's not like you're at a gun range or
Hmm.
um you done went to a bad part of a neighborhood where there's gang activity or any type of white supremacy activity, anything like that. You know,
Exactly.
you are in a place where there is family fun,
Hmm.
enjoying your family and friends. And
Hmm.
here this happens. I mean, it's so sad and ridiculous. Like on one side, I'm just shaking my head like that is so sad. I feel sorry for them, and on the other end, I'm like, I'm sick and tired of this.
Facts.
I've
Facts.
had enough.
It's like they live in a place where it's, oh my God, never thought it could happen here. And it's like, I'm like, yo, it can happen anywhere. Like I do,
Yeah,
it makes you sound callous
yeah,
because it makes you sound callous because it's that these things happen. I understand that these things are happening everywhere, everywhere.
that's
Like
right.
it for no reason.
It's very sad. Well, let's go and check out. Because if you want to look at that, you all you gotta do is go on YouTube, and you can see it. It's everywhere. You won't miss it. But I do want to check out this other one right here. Yep, he was trained by the military. I mean, you know, you have a lot of people that's trained by the military, but
Hmm.
they don't go and do things like this. And trust and believe, we all got a little mental illness
Yeah,
in the
and
back
we
of the
just
back
don't
somewhere.
go off for like unaliving people. It just don't happen. Like what was his mental trigger? Like what happened?
Yeah. This still looks like the same one I played earlier. I was actually looking for the one where they was talking about, and they were showing the video because they have video.
Yes, they do.
So let me do this right quick.
Let's see something.
Let's look at these. Let's look at this right here. So this is the house that they thought maybe he was at right here.
Hmm.
And he wasn't there. I don't think he was there. Because one thing about it, he may be suffering from mental illness, but he's not stupid. Okay?
Exactly.
Let's be for
Exactly.
real. Let's be for real. I mean, you got to have some level of intelligence to be able to do the things that he's doing.
Now, no, don't forget. His friend said he could hide for days.
Exactly.
He
Exactly.
could just be hiding, especially with how thick those woods are. Now, I wonder what made him go to that house, even though it's a family's house, a family member's house. What made him go there? Like,
Mm-hmm.
was the family trying to help him? You think, or bring
Maybe
him in?
I don't know. Maybe he called there because now they want to track him.
I mean, but if he was, I don't know. I don't know if that part makes any sense to me, because it's like if he knows he's done these things, he's unlived these people, and he's on the run. Why go to a destination where they can lock you in at one point?
Yeah. Well, I don't think he went there to be honest. And he's only 40 years old, y'all. He's 40.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. I thought he was a little older than that, looking at the picture, but I'm just saying. So he's, you know,
And you know, we never know what these people see while they are in the military. Because a lot of times they see things that we could never think about imagining, and they see it for real.
hmm. But they said I was reading up on him. They said he never saw any kind of combat training or anything like that. However, like you don't know what like basic training, things like that. You don't know what kind of things he went through. Not that that's any excuse for what he did. You know, just like what could have happened to make his brain like trigger. Was he hazed or something like that? You never know.
I don't know. I mean, it could be a lot of things. I mean, because I actually think that something happened. I don't think he just went off on the deep end all of a sudden. I think something happened.
I don't know. Said he
I
was a
don't
nice
know.
group of friends when he first went off, so you never know. Friends aren't always friends.
So let's listen and see what the governor of Maine has to say.
I hope they catch him and catch him soon.
Right, because people are scared. I mean, Lord have mercy.
Planning funerals instead of going to school the next day, going to work the next day.
Right, like you done traumatized these people.
Yes.
I'm profoundly saddened to stand before you today to report that 18 people lost their lives and 13 people injured in last night's attacks. In memory of those we lost and in honor of those who were injured, President Biden and I have ordered all U.S. flags and state of Maine flags to be lowered to half-staff immediately for the next 5 days. Maine State Police have issued a shelter-in-place order for Lewiston, Lisbon, and Bowdoin as the manhunt for that person of interest, Robert Card of Bowdoin, continues.
Well, oh yeah, let's talk about the mysterious note.
Right. They don't know. They won't. They're not saying what the note's about, how long the note is. Usually they say he had a manifesto. It was 75 pages long, front and back, in small letters. You know.
Yeah, because I hate to say it, but the media, they enjoy this type of stuff. Yeah, I know
Mm-hmm.
they might be traumatized, but baby, it ain't nothing like a good old click and a good old story to keep everybody interested.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
They're not
sickening.
even saying if it had anything to do with why he did what he did. Also, they have put word out that he is armed and dangerous to the Canadian border. So I wondered about that as well. Because Maine ain't that far off from Canada.
Right. Let's see what they got to say. Let's see.
Of others injured. Now we're getting more color on Robert Card's background, and it's concerning. Fox News did review an internal law enforcement bulletin going out to the Maine State Police, which says that Robert Card does have a military background. He's believed to be part of the Army Reserve. He's a firearms instructor and is known to have mental health issues, particularly had reported hearing voices in his head, had previously threatened to shoot up a military base before, and as recently as this summer, spent 2 weeks in a mental health facility, then was released. Now, those details there are going to raise all sorts of questions and red flags as to how he's got that rifle that he's holding in these photos right now with those kind of mental health issues. Going into a mental health facility this summer, there are going to be all sorts of questions asked as to how this guy was able to possess a firearm like that. Now, obviously, there's a chance that maybe he purchased it on the street or it's a ghost gun, that sort of a thing. The ATF will come in. They'll sort out all those questions once they eventually find this guy or take him down, and they're able to start trying to run emergency traces on that gun, what it is, where it.
So, a person like myself sometimes aren't hip to the street lingos because I be minding my business. So, for those that don't know, ghost guns are unregulated firearms that anyone can buy and build without a
Mm-hmm.
background check.
Yep.
For
Yep.
those, ghost guns are unserialized and untraceable. That
Yes.
is so dangerous. And
Very
how that
dangerous.
is legal is unfair. unfathomable to me.
Right.
Unfathomable.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, come on now.
Yeah. It's sad. It is so
No, that's
sad.
scary. It's scary. Because now they're making these daggone 3D guns.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what. It's not that much protection in the world. I mean, to me, it's getting to the point where I'm fixing to harm people. It's not about protection
Facts.
anymore. It's about I'm gonna hurt somebody.
Because look, happened in my city first thing this morning. This woman, for unknown reason, shot a bus driver 6
Mm,
times
mm.
for what no one knows. Like why are guns just so heavy in these streets of everywhere nowadays? I mean, it's everywhere.
Lord, it's so sad. And the children got more guns than the adults.
But the
Let's
high powered rifles are the problems.
right. Um, this was updated like 50 minutes ago. Let's check this out and see what they say.
Wow. This new Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear is so soft and so smooth. I'm starting to get carried away. Ah, thank you, Mr. Smooth Bear.
Well,
Designed with smooth
we
tear
gotta let the
effects, new Charmin
commercials
Ultra
run their
Soft Smooth
course.
Tear has wavy
I'm just saying they
perforation
call your septic tank. That's all I'm
for a
saying.
smooth, more enjoyable go.
Mom, you okay in there?
I'm terrific. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
We're following the breaking news out of Maine where a mass shooter is on the loose. His former colleague.
Okay, there it is.
We're following the breaking news out of Maine where a mass shooter is on the loose. His former colleague just told CNN, this is new information we're getting, told CNN that he is a skilled marksman and outdoorsman who was among the best shooters in his Army Reserve unit. CNN's informant is tracking everything we know about this manhunt. Tom, what can you tell us about the area that law enforcement is searching right now?
Well, I can tell you, Dana, that it is growing by the hour. Remember, this was 7 o'clock last night when this all started, according to authorities. We're now at least 15 hours and change beyond that. And we know that it started in a relatively limited location. Just-in-time recreation up here, that's the bowling alley, Schmingy's Bar and Grill restaurant. This is only about 4 miles apart. But then pretty soon it expanded out here to this area where the vehicle was found. That's about 8 miles from the town. So now we're in a position where they're really having to look wider and wider, potentially, depending on when he's moving. Think about what you just said about what this person may know here. If we look at the suspect, Robert Card, certified firearms instructor, member of the U.S. Army Reserve, made threats to carry out a shooting at National Guard facility earlier on, according to authorities, and reporting mental health issues, including hearing voices. If you look at all of that, you combine it with that information you just reported there, the idea that this is somebody who may know the outdoors very well, who may be very skilled at this, you understand how this shooting, this really changes the approach that law enforcement has to take to him. They're always going to go into cases like this moving as quickly as they can, but look at the around here. Maine is one of the least populated states in this country. I've been up in this area. This is all an awful lot of rural area, an awful lot of wooded areas where pursuing someone is very different than it is in an urban environment. Authorities largely are saying to people to stay locked down, but think about the distances we talked about before. 8 miles in here. They've locked down all the schools down here in Portland. They've told kids to stay home. They've closed them all because this is expanding by the hour. How they will track him down in this environment, remember, the Androscoggin River runs right through here. If he has access to a watercraft of any type, he can come straight down and go right out through here. Many, many ways he can move away from this. And I will tell you this, Dana, one of the challenges for law enforcement is because they don't know where he is, the search area itself, again, by the hour gets more complicated. If he got into a different car after he got rid of that other car that he had a short while ago, if he got into a different car than the one that they found at one location out here, if he got into a car and started heading at highway speeds and just went in one direction, he could easily be well beyond Cleveland, Ohio at this point. Does that happen very often? Doesn't seem to, but it certainly could. And it complicates the equation for all these authorities looking for this man who they say should be seen as armed and dangerous. And it makes you understand why so many communities far away from this are paying attention and actually should.
Mm.
Now, I don't. Let me look something up real quick. Hold on. Let me look something up because I swear I think I read something.
Such a tragic situation. It's just tragic.
Exactly.
No other
So
way to say it.
it says that Coast Guard deploys ships and planes to search for Maine shooting suspect's boat. I had read somewhere that his car was found about 4 miles up, like plus 4 miles away, near where he had a boat, and his boat
Mm-hmm.
was missing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but listen, by air, by plane, so the Coast Guard is looking for him as well. The Coast Guard, the FBI, the Canadian Border Patrol, like, is someone going to be able to find him?
Right. Well, we will see. We will
Yeah.
keep everyone posted as we watch this play out as well. Want to thank everyone for tuning in. You can also follow us, Dab TV, on Facebook. Also, you can follow us on YouTube, The Truth About a Boss. Put that in there. Let me see.
Yeah.
And I guess you can also follow myself and Sunshine.
Yeah. On Facebook, TikTok, if I like you like that, though. Only if I like you like that.
Yes. So
Boom.
that's where we go live at on YouTube. So like and subscribe. Check us out
And share. We
and
appreciate
share.
a good share.
We do. We always coming with the hot topics because we want to keep people informed. You know, educated conversations. Yeah, we talk about some hot topics as well here and there, but everything is not about what's going on with Blueface and Krishan
And
and Jaden at this point. Don't forget her.
the sister wife. But anyway,
But anyway, well, that's it. Anything you would like to say, Sunshine, before we end this live?
be safe, remain healthy. Self care, self love are not selfish things. Boundaries are so very important, and it is okay to put yourself first.
That's right. That's right. And all I have to say is do what's right. Be a better person for tomorrow. All right, we'll see you guys next time on Raw Emotions.